Yeah, a top 10 list. I bet you weren't expecting this, and honestly, I wasn't either. I literally thought of this video idea in the shower and decided to make it on a whim. And then I realized it would be a great fit for my 1,000 subscriber special, so here we are. Weird origins aside, I think it'd be really fun just to talk about my favorite diesel locomotives without having to go into the history or, talk about the train if I'm rail fanning. So, here we go. Number 10, GE-9/AC4400CW. Starting out the list with arguably the most successful series of engines of all time, the GE-9s and AC44s, both of which are going together in this spot simply because they're basically the same. The Dash 9 has DC traction and the AC44 has AC traction. I like these units for two reasons, one being that I'm living in the dying years of these engines, so every time I see one, it's a pretty good catch. Not to mention the fact that they're going to get rebuilt soon, so the catches are fun to look back on. The other reason is the sheer variety of paint schemes these engines come in, and they look great in almost all of them. I mean, there's ones in War Bonnet, YN2, SB Scarlet and Gray, CNW Yellow, Ferromex, BNSF H1, CFX Blue, KCS Southern Belle, the list goes on. Pretty much every well-loved livery from the past 30 years these engines have worn, with some of them keeping those liveries into the present day. It just makes seeing these engines so interesting, and I'll be trying to catch as many as I can before they're gone. Number 9, the EMD SD60 Mac. In ninth place is certainly the most obscure unit on this list, the EMD SD60 Mac. I bet you're wondering, wait, what even is an SD60 Mac? Well, when EMD was first developing their AC traction for their 70 Macs, they didn't actually have them ready yet, so they decided to test it out alongside their new stealth steering trucks on the previous SD60M model. However, they used the early Triclops cab that was used on the early SD60Ms. This created the SD60 Mac. They were only used as demonstrators, mostly on BN, and were just stored after that. Despite not having an interesting or long service life, man do they look cool. The Triclops cab just looks so good, especially on a Mac. Not much else to say, I just really like these units. Too bad EMD did this with them. Number 8, the EMD SDP40F. Ah yes, Amtrak's first engines. While these weren't the greatest engines operation-wise, they do have an interesting history behind them and are honestly my favorite looking Amtrak engines. They just look so good in Phase 1, what can I say? Not to mention their appearance on the Santa Fe, reclassified as SDF-40-2. I actually really like the cuts they did to the nose for better crew access. It makes the units more streamlined and unique, and not just an FP45 clone. I will be going to the IRM relatively soon when I get the chance. See the last one left, 6976, and it's absolutely beautiful War Bonnet-inspired Maersk paint scheme. Number 7, the Siemens ALC-42. Yes, I'm aware I'm taking a big risk by putting these on the list. Not only are a bunch of people going to click off this video, but now I have to live in constant fear of the Amtrak foamers breaking into my house and strangling me to death in my sleep. Either way, I really like the LZ42s. They're the only modern Amtrak engines that look futuristic and modern while keeping that unique American locomotive charm and not just copying France. The nose is definitely the best part. Those headlights really look like a determined face, and the lit up weird grill thing on the side is so cool. Plus, they wear my favorite Amtrak livery of all time, Phase 6, Fight Me. They also have a really distinct sound and ditch light flash. You can always tell when one is coming. I honestly think they're my favorite sounding locomotives of all time. Certainly my favorite passenger diesels. Number 6, the Baldwin RF-16. Some of you from the really old days, like pre-YouTube days, might remember a time when these are my favorite diesel locomotives. They aren't anymore, but I still love them. And they're definitely my favorite cab units. The Sharknose design is just so unique and striking, and I really love all the engines with it. But the RF-16 is just the best out of them. Not only was it the most successful, but it also had the widest range of liveries, and just like the Dash 9s and AC44s, they look good in all of them. Favorites are definitely the Demonstrator Scheme and the NYC Lightning Stripe, but the DNH, B&O, Monongahela, and PRR liveries are awesome too. These engines have such unique history and design that I can't help but love them. I really hope the last two are restored to operation one day. Number 5, the EMD/NS SD60E. This is not a joke. Number 5 on this list really is the SD60E. I know a lot of people detest these units, mostly just because of the cab design, the NS Crescent cab. Hot take of the century, I know, but I actually really like it. In this modern era with the only wide cab designs with the basic GE and EMD designs, this radically different but still awesome and imposing cab really sticks out. I actually think the other engines that got the cab, the GE-8.5s, look way better, but those units are quite possibly the least reliable pieces of garbage that Norfolk Southern has ever created, unlike the S60Es, which are super reliable and still used today in large quantities. Not to mention the fact that the NS Veterans, Go Rail, and First Responders units are all SD60Es. I just wish NS would let them out on road trains again and not keep them in yard service for literally all of eternity. The only one I've ever seen moving was way back in early 2023, and the others I've seen were all in the Juniata deadline. I really want to get more footage of these engines. Please, Norfolk Southern, send some my way. Number 4, the EMD SD70 Mac. I don't think I've ever mentioned this in a video before, but I really love the SD70 Macs. Who doesn't? They're like a railfan favorite nowadays. And their rebuilds are awesome too. Despite not being the best-selling or my favorite EMD locomotives, I won't deny that these were the peak of EMD engineering before the GEVOs came in and ruined everything. The Whisper cab is just so good. It's my favorite cab design of any locomotive ever. And the ultra-clean design of the long hood and trucks put these firmly above the other Whisper cab engines like the S60Ms and the SD80 Max. Not to mention that they were the only revenue service engine to get the legendary BN executive scheme. I'm so glad CSX and Metro rebuilt them and are keeping them in service for years to come. Number 3, GE B40-8W. Santa Fe. Enough said.
It's Santa Fe all the way. Well, a big old freight just left the yards, burning up the rails. A headlight gleams and the whistle screams, a lonesome sounding wail. Hot loads rolling for the coast, we'll be there in 3 days on the Santa Fe all the way.
Number 2, the EMD DD35/DDA35. I'm sure a lot of you expected the Centennials to be on this list. I mean, I did just get up at 5 a.m., travel to basically Iowa, and say 6936 for 6 hours straight, but I actually like the DD35 better. The Centennial's F45 cab really clashes with the hood unit design in my opinion. The DDA35 standard cab just fits it much better. I also just find the DD35B unit version just so funny because it's like you have a booster engine that's twice as large and twice as powerful as the engine it's boosting. It looks so hilarious behind a GP35. I just really like these and wish one was preserved. Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions, each of which I'll explain in a single sentence. EMD DDA40X. Still cool, but the DD35 is better. EMD SD75M/SD75I. Looks really awesome, but the Max had better paint schemes. EMD SD80 Mac. Conrail Cadillacs. EMD SD40-2. The most successful American diesels ever and an absolute classic. Alco C630. Looks awesome and that demonstrator livery is peak. EMD SD45. Big beefy boy and the start of flared radiators. EMD SD70M. They look the same as the Mac, but I just hate UP yellow, so they're not on the list. GE P40DC/P42DC. Really cool design, but I don't like Phase 5. It's ugly. EMD SD70 Ace T4. Peak cab design, the engines sound amazing, and they're the only units in modern day that actually wear UP yellow well. EMD F40PHM. I absolutely adore the Winnebago cab design, but 210 exists, so they didn't make the list. EMD E9AM. The last units in service and the most reliable ones. GE BQ23-7. I actually like the Q cab. Fight me. Slugs. My brother would cry if I didn't put these on here, but they aren't really locomotives, so I couldn't put them on the list. Sorry. Number 1, the EMD SD70 ACU. I'm pretty sure most of you saw this coming because I've mentioned it in like 1,000 videos at this point. Of course, the giant SD90 Mac rebuild, the EMD SD70 ACU, is my favorite diesel locomotive of all time. I just love these so much. The EMD Phase 2 cab is so nice to look at. The giant 90 Mac radiators and length give them their own special flair separate from the Aces, and they have a really cool history with the 90 Macs that they were rebuilt from, coming from crazy places like the Indiana Railroad and CEFX, as well as, of course, Union Pacific and Canadian Pacific. Not to mention the legendary horns a lot of them have. Both CP and NS did awesome things with their ACUs too. NS made them the iconic horseshoe curve helpers. For now. While CP made them heritage and military units. They're also not that common, so finding one on the main line is a cause for celebration. I'm so glad CP and NS gave the problematic 90 Max a chance to shine in a second life, and made them look far better in the process. Certainly my favorite diesel locomotives of all time. And with that, it's done! My top 10 favorite diesel locomotives of all time. I would really like to write a clever outro and thank you guys more for 1,000 subscribers, but I can hear the Amtrash filmers outside my door coming to delete me from reality, so I have to go deal with that. Catch the units while you can, especially the ACUs, and I will see you in the next video.